Good afternoon, everyone. Coming to you from Starkey Farmstead. Hope you're having a great day. Please like, comment, and subscribe. All right, guys, this video is going to be short, sweet, and full of information. We're going to talk to you about the Produce Safety Alliance and your training that is now a federal law. All right, so President Obama signed in some legislation, all right? And we're really just seeing that coming down. Deadlines are getting close. Some deadlines have passed. I think COVID set a few things back. But basically what I'm talking about is FSMA, Food Safety Modernization Act, FSMA, FSMA. So a lot of people I see on here talking about, I want to start a market garden. I want to start a this. You know, how do I make money? How do I, excuse me. How do I become successful with my homestead, my farmstead, my hobby farm, my market garden? Well, you're going to be required to meet these standards. Okay, so first thing, you're going to have to take a PSA grower training course, and I am reading some notes I just made. This is one way to satisfy the FSMA produce safety rule requirement outlined in 112-22C that requires, and this is a direct quote, at least one supervisor or responsible party for your farm must have successfully completed food safety training at least equivalent to that received under standardized curriculum recognized as adequate by the Food and Drug Administration. I took this course, okay? I took it because, well, I like to go to school, and I'm one of those people. And what I realized sitting in a 2-day training, and I'm going to be very honest, what I felt was this was a play through the USDA, through the federal government, to clamp down really on any new farms or market gardens from coming into existence. Guys, the requirements and this, let me show you, and this binder, look at that. Look at that. See how thick that is? All right. Now, like I said, I like school. I like it. This was a little me sitting there going, huh, really? It is so detailed that they're going to require the water that you use when you are irrigating your market gardens, rinsing your vegetables, to be tested not once, but at least twice in the same year at your expense. All right, most people are like, oh, that makes sense. Okay. So we're responsible. So say that you live, let me give you a good example. Say that you're irrigating from a well, right? Did you pollute the water in that well? But say that you have a chicken farm right down the road from your house. Say that they are irresponsibly not taking care of the fecal matter and runoff, and it's trickling back into your well water. Are you responsible for that? Well, no. But you will be responsible for that. They won't. They'll continue to get away with it because they have something you don't. It's called money, clout. And as they're talking about all this, and they are so pumped up and so excited about these new rules, this lady gets on and she's like, I'm one of only 2 in this entire state that can GAP certify you. I'm like, wow. So a lot of restaurants now, a lot of stores want you to be GAP certified. They want you to be FSMA certified. You have got to have taken the produce safety class. And I'm okay with taking the class, getting certified. I learned quite a few things, like things that I normally probably wouldn't have been thinking about that could possibly transmit, disease and that kind of stuff. But it is so rigorous. It is so rigorous that it's a bit overwhelming. Like, no small farm is going to have 4 sets of everything. So, okay, like I'm a Farmstead, right? The boots that I wear when I go out to feed my chickens, my rabbits, cannot be worn into my garden. Again, a lot of you are probably like, oh, well, that makes sense. I mean, I guess, but I'm not walking on the food that you're going to eat. I'm walking down the row. However, the boots cannot be worn. Okay? I get that. Change your gloves, wash your hands. I mean, I totally get that. But say that you're picking produce. You have a small 1/4 acre market garden. You're picking produce. You accidentally drop your squash back on the ground in your garden, like right behind me where I have a heavy mulch. The squash is already on the ground. But say it hits the ground. I'd have to double check to make sure this is actually true. People don't usually eat squash raw, but they do eat cucumbers raw. So let's use cucumbers as a better example. You cut the cucumber, because I don't trellis my cucumbers, so they're already on the mulch, right? They're already on the ground. But I accidentally drop it on the ground and then pick it up and put it back into my produce box. Guess what? Everything in that box has to be thrown out. Gone. I can't use it. It's rules like that. But when you really get into this manual, something I found that just kind of floored me was extremely large farms don't have to meet these standards. And if you make under like $27,000, you don't have to meet these standards. It's the in between. And when I say really large, I think it's over $500,000. So the people who could afford to train their employees, buy multiple boots, multiple wagons, multiple proper boxes, they want you to be able to plot every section and be able to tell them exactly what row, what plant, what plot that fruit or vegetable came from. And they want you to do it electronically. So you have to be able to get all this new electronics. You have to live in an area where you have, like Spectrum, the cable or wire, high-speed internet. We just got that. We're in August of 2022 and we just got that. A lot of places in America, in the rural areas where we grow food, doesn't even have the accessibility to that. So that's what I'm saying, like the money to get this off the ground. And if you decide you want to be GAP certified, wow, you better like documents. And I'm being very serious. You better be willing to write out like a 30-page, what happens if a bird poops on your tomato plant? How are you going to handle that? What happens if the wild rabbit gets in and poops beside your squash? What happens if the deer gets in, eats the tops of your radishes off? How are you going to handle that? How are you going to make sure nobody gets sick from that? How are you going to protect your garden? I mean, it's intense. So this is an introduction to the Produce Safety Alliance information, the Food and Safety, the FSMA Food and Safety Modernization Act, which, like I said, I kind of think it is really an attempt to keep people from being able to grow enough food and make an income as well as support their communities. So it's not going to encourage people to go into farming. This is not something that a new and beginning farmer or an older farmer that's been doing it the same way for 30 years, has regular customers, people never get sick eating this man or woman's produce. Like, it should be up to the customer. If you want to buy food from me, come buy food. If you don't like the way my food tastes, then never buy from me again. Like, that is your right. You're an adult. Can't you think through that? I mean, like, what they're going to do is they're going to narrow down the amount of places and people who are producing for America. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there is no way that they are forcing this nonsense down the throats of people in China, where the majority of our inputs are coming in from. You're going to tell me that people in Mexico and China are testing their water and their water is passing this, I mean, a truly tremendous water test. And then if it doesn't pass, you have to worry about bringing in water from another area or properly purchasing these truly expensive, like filters and stuff. I'm telling you guys, it is going to slow down farmers because you can only grow to a certain extent and then this kicks in. $27,000 is not that much money. So if you're going to get into market gardening, if you're going to get into farming, you had better get into the USDA and see what new laws are coming down. All this carbon nonsense, and you see what the World Economic Forum's doing with fertilizers. Does that directly affect me? No, because I don't buy their 13, 13, 13 and 10, 10, 10 and all that nonsense. And I don't use 7 dust. I don't use any of that mess. I use worm castings, rabbit manure, compost. That's it. But they're even trying to tell me more about that, like to regulate and control what types I'm using, wanting testing done. I mean, I'm telling y'all, we need less regulations in America. This is ridiculous. It's not going to help our country's situation that we're in. Food is going up. It is getting less accessible, less affordable. Supply chains are crashing. And now you've got Obama era laws all of a sudden coming in like it was all pre-planned. I mean, literally, like these things have to be met by 2023, 2024, 2020, 2021. I mean, I'm serious. So you see people see an opportunity. Oh, look, cost of food's going up, supply chains crashing. I'm going to grow food, right? That is like such an American thing to do, such a victory garden mentality. Good for you, America. Good for you, free thinkers. Here's the problem. Your government foresaw that and has already started taking steps to limit your ability to make an income off what you grow, what you ranch, what you breed. The laws are getting harder and harder to meet. I'm not going in debt to do what I know God called me to do. I tell y'all that all the time. So I know that he's going to make a way. That's why I went and took the class, because I believe we should follow the law. I'm also telling you to wake up, quit voting for people who keep passing these Green Deal ridiculous laws. Guys, there is no climate change crisis. The earth has cycles. Yeah, a couple of years you're going to be in a drought. A couple of years you're going to get torrential downpour. 5 or 6 years that the temperature is going to be through the roof. And then you're going to get cool. It is so cool right now. I mean, when's the last time you saw me out here not sweating? It's August of 2022 and I'm sitting outside and it feels good. Really, really good. Oops. Crisis. The temperature, she's not burning up. Guys, come on. Like, our memories are so short because our lifespans are so short, and they are lying to you. I literally watched a USDA film just now and literally heard the secretary say the most ignorant statement I've ever heard. This is what the man said. Well, if you're I believe in jet fuel. You know, we need to have biofuels, because if you're driving an electric car and your battery runs out, you can just pull over and call somebody for help. But if you're flying in a plane and it runs out of fuel, you're gonna crash. And I went, what did he just say? Here in the country, I know some of you live in the mountains. I mean, like, how great is your cell reception? So they want you to go get an electric car and let your battery die on the side of the road and you be stuck in your car waiting on somebody to come help you, but they must keep their jets in the sky. This is the nonsense we're living in. Please, please, if you truly care about being able to feed your family, being able to be prepared for what is coming, stop allowing people to take office who are going to pass the most ignorant and asinine laws you've ever seen. come on, guys. Come on. The hottest temperatures recorded in, well, I'm going to call it modern history. It's only 100 years ago. Were like 100 years ago, and it was like 120 degrees all over the world. I mean, like really hot. People were dying left and right. This is before air conditioner. This is before, you know, there were millions and millions of cars, before oil rigs, before all of that. And it was hotter than it is now. So are you going to call that a climate crisis? I mean, quit letting the same people that tell you kids are legal adults at 18, but their brains haven't developed, so they can't drink, they can't smoke, and they can't buy vape stuff until they're 21, right? Because their brains have not developed. They can't make good decisions. These same people that say that stuff about kids who are 18 and can be held responsible for every crime on the book as an adult at 18 aren't responsible enough to decide if they should drink, smoke, or vape responsibly or not, whatever, but they're not responsible enough to make those decisions. Those same people will allow a child under the age of 18 to have a sex change that is irreversible, life-changing, and most of the time regrettable later, and there's nothing these kids can do to fix it. I mean, seriously. Come on, America. You have got to have more common sense than this. So this is just an introduction to what's coming down the pipeline. I highly advise that you look up FSMA, FSMA, FSMA laws if you're intending to try to make a profit off your land with farming. You had better go ahead and get your Produce Safety Alliance certificate, sit through your 2 days with the USDA, have your mind blown, because mine really was. And all I could think through the whole thing was, what some of it was great, and some of it was like, they expect me to be able to put the infrastructure in for this? Where am I going to get the money for that? Go in debt? That's really what they want you to do. They want you to go in debt. So then you're technically owned by whoever you owe that money to, and at any point they can come take what you worked so hard for, ending private land ownership across America. And we did do a little bit on that. My husband said his suggestion would be everybody get land paid for. And this one guy goes, oh yeah, but you'll still have taxes. Not necessarily, guys. Look up homesteading exemption in your state, in your area. Call the tax assessor's office for your parish or your county. Find out what you need to do to get homestead exemption. I don't pay land taxes. No, I don't. I'm homestead exempted. I don't know, a mortgage is totally paid for and homesteaded exempt. Okay? So quit listening to people who assume things or talk about things they really have no idea. If they've not taken the training, or they've not actually gone through the process, or they're not even homestead exempt, and they tell you that's not a real thing. Okay, you just keep voting for the new Green Deal, okay? Because now I got to go get ready for Children's Church. But I just want to tell you guys, these are the things you need to be preparing for. Hear everybody talking about all this other stuff. Well, I'm telling you from a producer's endpoint, a small farm endpoint of having gone through these classes, of what you've got coming down the pipeline to you is insane. And now with the president we currently have and the things that are being passed right now by your federal government, is going to get much harder to get food out of the ground and make any money on it, because a lot of the exemptions are only if you're using that food for yourself, but they're going to come after that too. You watch. They're going to say, well, if you grow food, we have a right to come on your property, and if you use this, this, and this, we'll take it, we'll get rid of it, we won't allow it. That's their next step. Watch what I'm telling you. So you better start voting, and you better start voting informed, and not by what the TV and the newscasters that are all paid for by the World Economic Forum is telling you to think. Get into these laws, read them for yourself. And if you don't want to do that, you probably don't even really want to watch my channel, because I'm going to bring it to you as I see it. So you guys have a blessed day. Again, please like if you have taken these classes, or you're thinking about it, or you need more information, comment. But please subscribe. You guys have a blessed day.